conducting terrorist attacks, so you can't really say that the war has ended as far as they're concerned.
Well, I'd also point out that the Taliban is an armed insurgency. ISIL is a terrorist group, so we don't make concessions to terrorist groups.
We feel the Taliban is a terrorist group.
I don't think that the Taliban is an armed insurgency. This was the winding down of the war in Afghanistan, and that's why this arrangement was dealt. Our view is, as the President said at the time, which is, as Commander-in-Chief, when he sends men and women into armed combat, he doesn't want to leave anyone behind.
All right, Eric Schultz, ladies and gentlemen. We played that at the top of the show. Now let's have the panel weigh in, and that panel consists of founder of Less Government, Seton Motley, and senior partner at Adam M. Thompson Law and syndicated talk show host, Adam M. Thompson. Gentlemen, welcome. That was Eric Schultz, the Deputy White House Press Secretary, yesterday, answering Jonathan Karl, saying, hey, you say, how is what Jordan's doing and willing to trade a prisoner with ISIS any different than what the U.S. did in getting Bo Bergdahl back from the Taliban? And Eric Schultz says the Taliban, because he says it correctly, Taliban, they're not terrorists. They're an armed insurgency. Seton, please wake me up from this bad dream.
I was watching him founder to that answer, and my first thought was, I'd like to buy a clue, please, Vanna. That was the most unprofessional. Where did they get this guy? I mean, it's like he went from single A ball to the major leagues and skipped all the other steps. I don't know who prepped him. I don't know what the Obama administration's White House press pre-meetings are for the secretary, but wow, that was a really bad answer. There's no one on the planet, including a bunch of people on the left, who would argue that they're not. I mean, when they go on a school bus and shoot a girl because she won't stop going to school, when they shoot up a school full of girls because they have girls in school, it's hard to argue that they're not a terrorist organization. I do not know
but Seton, you must be overlooking, and Adam Seton must be overlooking that time when the administration distinguished between the good Taliban and the bad Taliban, as they call them. And at the time, I remember going nuts, and I'm referring to how they threw acid in the face of the little girls. Seton and Adam and I said, well, the bad ones must be the ones who throw the acid in the face of the little girls. The good ones are the one who buy the acid and then stand there and watch. Adam, this is insane.
It's beyond insane, Stephen. What's so crazy about this is, you know that these kind of questions are going to be asked at this press conference, and the fact that the speaker is so ill-prepared and bumbling in what he's going to say to make a statement on behalf of the Obama administration is just, ridiculous. If you know these questions are being posed, you have set answers. And to say in such a flippant kind of manner that the Taliban is just maybe a militarized group, it isn't really a terrorist organization or a terrorist group, is just preposterous. And it's funny how they forget the statements that you just brought up, the good versus the bad Taliban. It's like, don't they even remember the statements they previously give? Because that's going to be part of the conversation as well by people covering these kind of events. So it makes no sense that they would make these statements, and it's clearly off base. They're wrong. They can't be wrong more than 100%, but they are.
Steve,
I have a report. Go ahead.
My one good point is, if he refers to them as an armed insurgency, that means they were improperly deposed from their position of power, which fits right in line with the Obama State Department meeting with the Muslim Brotherhood to help try to overthrow General Sisi in Egypt.
Right, and that's okay. But Netanyahu coming here to speak 3 weeks before his election is a no-no. In fact, when we come back, I want to just let you know, there's a petition reportedly now being circulated among Democrats in the House, and some of them are signing on, saying that it's inappropriate for Netanyahu to come on March 3rd. He should postpone it. It's harmful for 3 reasons. The letter reads, it undermines the president's foreign policy, it puts a close ally in the middle of a domestic political debate, and it elevates a candidate in a foreign election. We'll come back. We'll weigh in on that. I want you to hear what an NBC guest said about the American Sniper movie, and a lot more as the panel ladies and gentlemen, the Malzberg panel of Seton Motley and Adam Thompson returns with part 2. Of course, that's coming your way right here on Newsmax Television on the Steve Malzberg Show. Don't go away. All right, folks, so before the break, I was reading to the panel a report about a letter being sent around to the Democrats to the House of Representatives, the Congress, talking about how Netanyahu should postpone his speech before the joint session because it hurts the president's foreign policy, it's too close to his election, etc. What about it, Seton? I mean, to me, this just shows who the Democrats really are and who the real supporters of Israel really are.
Was it undermining of President Bush's foreign policy when Nancy Pelosi went to visit Bashar Assad in Syria in 2007? At least Netanyahu's an ally. Bashar Assad certainly isn't. And also, I'd like to point out that they think it's interfering with an election. Meanwhile, they're sending State Department, government-paid officials to help unelect Benjamin Netanyahu in Israel. So I guess that's not messing with foreign elections.
While, as you pointed out, they're working with the Muslim Brotherhood officials here to try to get the current government of Egypt kicked out. Adam, I'm telling you, you know what? If we had a real media in this country, my God, they wouldn't know where to start. They wouldn't know where to stop. And there was no way that this man could have won re-election. And I'm telling you, impeachment wouldn't be a dirty word if the media were to tell the public what's going on a grand scale.
Hypocrisy has no limits, and the Obama administration, I think, should be the calling card. I mean, it's amazing. You would think over what's going on in Iran, how close they're getting supposedly to nuclear capabilities, and all the issues with us trying to reestablish relations with Iran, that one of the main people you want to hear from to get their views and opinion would be the Prime Minister of Israel, Netanyahu. But yet it seems like Obama and the administration just snubs their nose at him consistently. So the question has to be posed, is it really okay for someone in Congress to then make an invitation for him to come and get his viewpoints and or speak in front of Congress? It is normally done through the executive branch as one of their powers, but as the other speaker just said, it's been done in the past where other Congress people have went overseas and went to other countries without really as much as a whisper. So if that's the case, I don't really see anything being wrong with it because it's been done in the past, but for some reason it's being made a big issue now. And is it because it's Israel and is it because it's Netanyahu? That's what you got to ask yourself.
Well, here's what's going to happen, Seton and Adam. Netanyahu is going to take Obama to school. He's going to lay out the facts. He's going to lay out the proof. He's going to lay out the situation the way it is, the threat to America, not only to Israel. And Obama's going to look like something that they called Netanyahu once. All right, let's go to this. This guy came from Al Jazeera. He's an NBC foreign What's that? What was that? I don't want to get there. I don't want to go there. Anyway, you know what they called him. All right, this guy that I'm going to play you now, NBC foreign correspondent, formerly worked at Al Jazeera, and listen to what he said about Chris Kyle and American Sniper.
It is a very compelling, very thought-provoking, very emotional movie.
But
when you juxtapose it with the real Chris Kyle and the story and what has emerged about what kind of personality he was, in his own words, very far
You're talking about the stories when he was back home in Texas, which may not have been true. Is that what you're talking about?
A lot of stories about when he was back home in Texas, a lot of his own personal opinions about what he was doing in Iraq, how he viewed Iraqis, some of what people have described as his racist tendencies towards Iraqis and Muslims as he was going on some of these, killing sprees in Iraq on assignment.
All right, killing sprees, racist. Seton?
I don't understand how people who are 8,000 miles away feel comfortable criticizing someone who was 800 feet away, doing what he had to do to keep them safely 8,000 miles away. As Willie Geist interjected there, I think that was Willie Geist, the stories that have come out, which Willie Geist points out, may not be true. These are rumors that are being spread that
Right.
if you saw any actual interviews with Chris Kyle,
And
or-
he wasn't talking about the Iraqi people, just the ones he killed. Adam, 10 seconds.
He was talking about savages when he made the comments about the Iraqis, meaning those people on the battlefield carrying grenades trying
Right.
to kill other soldiers.
Guys, gotta go. Seton Motley, Adam Thompson. Give me fives next.